For a few months now, Ye has been crafting his comeback album with longtime collaborator Dolla. And after months of anticipation, it looks as if this thing is finally gonna drop this Friday. The duo have been hard at work since the summertime, operating out of Japan, Italy, and most recently Saudi Arabia, legitimately having a studio setup in the desert. We've heard snippets, seen tracklists, and even had a single drop for this project. While at first it didn't exactly seem like a collab album was the best way for Ye to return to the public eye, this thing seems like it's going to be insane. Ty and Ye have talked about creating a collab effort for many years now, but it looks as if they're finally going to pull the trigger and do this thing. So just before this thing drops, allegedly this Friday, let's get into all the events that led up to this collab joint and see just what we can expect from Ye and Dolla's upcoming record, Vultures. Okay, so where we last left off with my previous Ye update video, they were still originally planning to do that first Italy listening party. So that first one was canceled, obviously, and the rumors were at the time that the event was going to be moved, postponed if you will, to November 3rd. So while this was kind of frustrating, we had to wait as a fan base a little bit more. It would come also with some other good news, in that Kanye allegedly had no political interest in running for president in 2024 or anything like that, which, big relief. But like I said, the event was postponed, and soon Dolla himself would confirm that it was still going on and that the November 3rd rumors were true, posting on Instagram, saying multi-stadium listening event November 3rd. Previously, the news about a listening party for Ye's upcoming records, it was kind of like just rumors. It was never confirmed by anyone in the camp themselves. This was a big deal. Now, I think we talked about this guy in the last video, but his name is Saint Leon, also known as Joy Boy. And when Kanye's camp was in Italy, he was an insider who was giving us like really reliable information. At least, you know, some of it was reliable anyway. Now, according to him, here in late October, the collab album between Ye and Dolla was completely finished. It just needed some mixing, and then it was ready for release, which I smell bullshit. I mean, maybe at the time it was ready, and that's why they were having that listening party, and then they decided to, like, change stuff or add tracks or whatever. But I mean, like, even recently, and it's December now, Kanye was premiering tracks, and they had mumble on them. Like, there's no way this thing was done. So maybe it was true at the time, I don't know. But we would also see soon that Freddie Gibbs would join Ye over in Italy, and Joy Boy would say, basically, I'm not going to call him Joy Boy anymore, I hate that name. He would say that Freddie Gibbs in his work over in Italy with Ye was solely for Kanye's solo album. A big thing was around this time in the fall that Kanye was working on both a solo album and a collab album. Now, there hasn't been really any talks of a solo Ye project, so I don't know what the plan is for that, if it's still going on or not. But following Freddie Gibbs, we would see a lot more people arrive in Florence, from the likes of KC, Playboi Carti, Sean Leone, and more. I guess Carti was supposed to link with Ty when he was over in Italy, and he just stayed in his hotel room, got into a fight with a taxi driver, and like no-showed, so you gotta love Carti, man. But a majority of the operation in October was done in Florence, Italy, but Kanye would finally leave to go attend this boxing match in Saudi Arabia. Now remember, this is late October, we're really getting close to November 3rd, and we have gotten like no news regarding ticket sales for the listening party or anything, so fans start getting pretty pissed again. The Dolla post was still up though, so people still were holding on to that in hopes that the event was still going down, as Kanye's in Saudi Arabia, meeting with people like Jay Prince and Mike Tyson, and allegedly playing them some of the new tracks off these albums. Even though Kanye was in Saudi Arabia, Ant Clemens had just come to Florence, and Ant Clemens is kind of a legend in the Kanye community with all his work on Yandhi being outstanding, really, and then none of it obviously being put on streaming whatsoever, with Jesus King replacing Yandhi. But allegedly he's been working on this new record too, which is really exciting. Also find it funny with how much he's been screwed over by Kanye, like the fact that he finally goes out there to work with him, and Kanye's like, yo, I'm gonna split to Saudi Arabia real quick. But on the 1st of November, just 2 days from the event allegedly going down, Billboard would report that the November 3rd listening event would be canceled. 2 days later, Dolla would officially take down his Instagram post, although he would soon confirm that the collab album, it was still happening. But fans are being pretty upset now. Like, that's 2 dates that were not fulfilled. The album was supposed to drop allegedly a few weeks ago. It's like, it's getting annoying now. And some people actually direct messaged Ty's DJ and he would start talking in the DMs. He would say that the project was gonna drop on the 13th of October, but then it was moved to the 20th, and last Friday was talked about, that would have been the 27th, but the project needed mixing, and he would be quoted to say, they are talking serious about Friday. That would have been November the 3rd. I'm sure they were. While all this is going on overseas, though, some interesting stuff would happen in the West. First off, Fred again would have a show, and he would basically premiere a track that's supposed to be on this collab album. Fred again is a pretty talented producer. I'm personally a fan, and he got Ty's permission to premiere this Geneva track that Ty played in the club a few weeks back. And additionally, producer Ronnie J, who produced New Body, he would be on Aiden Ross's stream, and Aiden Ross would basically like kind of back him into a corner asking if New Body's gonna release, and Ronnie J would pretty much confirm it without saying anything. But we go back to Saudi Arabia as Ty Dolla $ign officially joins Ye over there, and this is where we see the operation of this album creating process. It kind of got moved from Florence officially to Saudi Arabia. Ye would literally set up shop in the fucking desert with a crazy studio setup out there. It looked outstanding. And this is all going down early to mid-November as we start to see the likes of Swizz Beatz, Joey Badass, Vori, Lil Durk, and Lupe Fiasco all joining Ye in his camp over in Saudi Arabia. Now, as Ye and Ty are grinding over there on the project, some fan would actually be in Saudi Arabia and overhear some of their work. I think this is some interesting information, but obviously it's a little vague, and I think some of the points are kind of like, I don't know. While this information isn't groundbreaking, I think it's just important to note, especially for when the album drops, looking back, like what track was this dude talking about. So as for the notes, it would say there's a whole lot of synths on the record. There's one album with sounds that were similar to like a house music vibe. There's a track with a piano and a flute. Ty and Ye were working on both albums at the same time. And also there was a lot of screaming vocals from both Ty and Ye respectively on tracks with production that sounded similar to The Life of Pablo. Shortly after this, on the 16th, we officially get a snippet from a fan as Kanye's literally like working in the open in the desert. And in there, Kanye says this. So all the media publications and everything are trying to take that and run with it and make it a big deal. But the day after, Power 92 Chicago starts promoting on socials that they will be premiering a brand new Kanye track on their station later that night. The track would be titled Vultures, featuring Bump J, Ty Dolla $ign, and Lil Durk. And the DJ doing the job would be DJ Ferris. My people who were there when Nah 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 was premiered for the first time on the radio, stand the fuck up. This guy just has like the craziest, most unnecessary sound bites. It cracks me up every time. But yeah, the track was premiered, and I don't know, man. I'm not like the biggest fan of it, and here's the reason why. It's not a bad track. I just think it was like a terrible song to be Kanye's official comeback track. Kanye's delivery on the song is just super low energy, and although his verse is fine, and I'm sure the low energy delivery was intentional, it sounds pretty hard. It's just like, I don't know, out of all the tracks to like officially come back to, I just thought it was pretty weak. I like the track though. I like the instrumental. I like Bump J. I think Ty sounds great on it, and like I said, I even like Kanye's verse. I just think it was a weird single. It would officially drop on streaming on November 22nd with this cover art, and at first, the Lil Durk feature would not be on the official release, but a few days later, the track would be uploaded once again with a version featuring Durk. In the days following the release of Vultures, Ye would perform it in Saudi Arabia with Durk and Ty at a club. And also, people would catch him recording a music video, probably for Vultures. Who the hell knows if we'll ever actually see that, though, with Kanye's bad reputation of filming music videos only to never drop them. But with Vultures being put on streaming, there would be an official artist page made for Kanye and Ty Dolla $ign with like the yen sign and the dollar sign. You know what I'm talking about. So someone would actually hack the Spotify page, and not only would they put a bunch of shitty songs on the artist page, but also they would see some interesting things in the back end. First off, I guess the album was uploaded and set to release on December 1st. And also, there was this cover art here that I'm showing you right now that some people speculate was the cover art for the album around this period. I don't know if the hacking had anything to do with this, but obviously the album would not release on December 1st. We kind of enter a dry period here because it's like, with Vultures dropping, the public reception and even the reception from hardcore Kanye fans was like, the track, it was kind of mid, especially as a single. So with that, people were kind of just like, yeah, the album keeps getting delayed and that's annoying, but also it's like, I hope this thing's good. We would get a track list posted on Good Ass Sub though, and it reads as the following. The title of the track list is BBPM, and the tracks are Slidin', In the Stars, New Body, Fuck Some, Paid, Paperwork, Burn, Love Me the Most, Back to Me, Time Moves Slow, Worship, City Underground, So Good, and River featuring Thug. Around this time in early December, we're not really hearing much from Ye or Ty. We're seeing Ye walk around Saudi Arabia with Vultures merch and everything, but shit would really hit the fan on the 8th of December as Ty Dolla officially posts a track list on Instagram. The track list reads, Everybody, Back to Me, Fuck Some, Time Moving Slow, Beg Forgiveness, So Good, Paid, Timbo Freestyle, Slide, New Body, Promotion, Vultures, Lifestyle, Drunk, Worship, River, Gun to My Head, and Unlock. And then literally, I don't even think an hour after this track list dropping, this guy posts a video of Kanye as you hear the intro track Everybody playing. And it sounds fucking awesome. The video was posted by this guy, Gosha Robchinsky, and you basically see Ye just looking over the city of Dubai as the intro track Everybody plays, which samples the Backstreet Boys track Alright, aka Backstreet's Back, and allegedly is featuring Charlie Wilson. Now that's what I'm freaking talking about in terms of a comeback track, you know what I'm saying? That's why Vultures was so confusing. Legitimately sounds outstanding. Like, Ye is back in his bag in terms of sampling. This is the comeback season. And right after that same night, Ye and Ty would officially announce a Vultures rave for Miami on the 12th of December. Now this is all happening while Playboi Carti is also soft launching his rollout for his upcoming album, which is like two of the biggest artists just happened to come back after a long ass hiatus on the same day. But Ye would reach out to Carti and say that he's not only checking in but invite him to this Vultures rave. At this time we didn't exactly know what this thing was gonna be. A rave indicates that it's just a party and not like a listening event where they're gonna premiere the new album. But Ye would officially leave Dubai for Miami on the 9th of December, where he was set to attend this art fair called the Art Basel the following day, where he would premiere a whole lot of new music. Ye would premiere so many tracks, including the previously teased Everybody, with his vocals on his verse being taken out by the DJ. He'd also premiere this track called River featuring Young Thug. He also would play Fuck Some with Carti and Quavo, as well as a bunch more tracks, which all sounded pretty damn great, aside from Ye still having mumble verses on a few tracks. Ye's having like private concerts at restaurants. The streets have the Ty and Kanye logo spray painted on them all over Miami. Like, shit is getting real. And then on the 10th of December, Kanye has this surprise performance at this club with Ty where he says this. I think I've been too much. Now, I know Ye is a notorious liar who always does not put out his albums on the promised dates. But that's a big deal. Hearing it from the man himself, Vultures is the name of the album and it is allegedly dropping this Friday. The next day, Playboi Carti would once again post on his Instagram story with some Ye related content, this time posting the artwork for the album. Takes inspiration from this black metal band called Burzum, which I never thought Ye would be. I know he's very versed with his music taste, but I never thought he would be into metal music whatsoever. He might just be down with the aesthetic, honestly. I would love to sit down and just play him some Lamb of God, Bring Me the Horizon. I think that'd be so fucking interesting. But then, as we're all anticipating this Vultures rave, and also the album allegedly dropping in just a matter of days, Ty would post on Instagram a screenshot of messages between himself and Ye. In the messages, Kanye would say, "My brother Travis hasn't sent his verse in yet. We shall wait and unite as a family. Vultures moves as a pack." Now this kind of insinuated that the album was going to be pushed back because they're waiting on a verse from Travis Scott, who's on tour and very busy. But we also had other issues because aside from that, the original venue that was supposed to host this rave event, they would put out a statement saying yo, no permits have been made. We are not hosting this rave. Luckily, news would hit that the event was being moved to a new location, with the rave officially going down at the Winewood Marketplace with the same date of December 12th at 12 a.m. Before the live stream even kicked off, like the pre-show, Denzel Curry actually showed up and did a little live set. And I was so excited. I was like, he's there. I wonder if he's on the album. We haven't heard anything yet. Then the live stream started, and we have to sit through this DJ set for like over 2 hours as Kanye, per usual, is late as hell. And by the time he does get there, we gotta wait even longer because apparently among all these musicians, among all these DJs, nobody has a fucking aux cord. Finally, when the show did kick off and we start hearing Everybody as the opening track, Dolla $ign's vocal where he says back again, just repeated for like almost 2 minutes entirely. I hope to God that is not on the studio version of that track. But the show kicked off, and you have Ye up on stage with North, Dolla $ign, Lil Durk, Offset, Freddie Gibbs, iconically being the only one not in black, Kodak Black, Bump J, and unfortunately, once again, Chris Brown. Everybody was the opening track. It features Lil Baby. Ty's got a verse on there, and Kanye's verse. We'll get to that in a second, but my favorite feature is the legendary Charlie Wilson on there doing the Backstreet Boys, the sample there. It's a great opening track, and instead of Backstreet's back, it's saying Yeezy's back. A little bit cringe, but it's fine. I like it. I was able to get into it in the moment anyway. But then Kanye's verse, man. What the fuck? Instead of mumbling, we now have to undergo a lot of whack-ass Ye lyrics. And, I mean, they're pretty crazy on here. They're just a little ridiculous. And I think we're starting a trend here. And I want to say this first because a lot of people were really upset about this project. And I expected Ye's comeback album to be something serious. I thought after such controversy, he was going to take it seriously. Like, he has something to prove, right? And apparently that's not the angle he is going for. Instead, he is going for the hits. You know, the tracks that are going to be in the club. And he's like, you know, when people always talk about Kanye's sense of humor, this album kind of shows that. He's laid back, chilling, just fucking around doing comedic shit. And if you can't enjoy that, this is not going to be for you. I really hope he changes the verse by Friday. It's not looking likely, but man, like Charlie Wilson's vocals literally gave me chills. It sounds so like grand, you know what I'm saying? And then the second track was, I think, pretty solid. It was Slide. We heard the snippet for it a long time ago, and it opens up with this really creepy organ sample. And then you got a song with North singing over a James Blake sample, which, I mean, apart from this being a blatant, you know, sign of Ye once again kind of being a little bit weirdly obsessed with Drake, with what he did with Adonis. Aside from that, I mean, North kind of killed it. Like, iconically, this is catchy as fuck. I can't even lie. Then you got this track Paid, which I thought was alright. Nothing exactly to write home about. I didn't think it was too special. But then there was this track with solely Chris Brown on it singing. So I don't know if it's not finished or this is just a standalone track for him to shine. But the track was called Beg Forgiveness. It sounds fine, but like, bro, I fucking hate Chris Brown. And it's not even because, like, I'm like, oh, women's rights. It's because this guy's a fucking snake. Every time he's around Ye, he goes around and posts some fucking rude-ass shit online, like, actually, fuck that guy. It's like, you know, what's going on to where you surround yourself with these guys who continuously go and talk shit about you? It's just a really strange phenomenon to me. River is probably one of my favorite tracks Ye played. It features Young Thug, and he slides over this beat in the beginning before there's a beat switch as Kanye comes in with the chorus, which is super catchy. And it ends with this moment where Dolla $ign's singing. It's like a Sunday service choir vibe, and Kanye's singing as well, harmonizing. And it's like, this is really what I wanted out of a Ty and Ye collab. They seemingly have gone a whole different direction than I thought, but like this soulful energy, that soul healing energy we heard about when this thing was first conceptualized, like this track encapsulates that. And then you got Forever Rolling featuring Lil Baby and Kodak Black. Kodak Black literally just walked out of jail apparently, took off the jumpsuit and immediately went to this fucking event. I love Kodak. He's a fucking icon. But this is a track where Ye actually has bars. His verse goes crazy here, and everybody who's bitching about him not being serious with his verse is like, enjoy this track. And then we got Back to Me, which is such a polarizing song because, I mean, first off, let's start with the positives. Dolla $ign on the chorus, man. How, number one, catchy, but two, just how beautiful his voice sounds. And then Freddie Gibbs with maybe the verse of the year. Holy fucking shit, dude. I love Freddie Gibbs. I'm so glad he got his moment here. You could tell he was so stoked to be there. Like, this is such a big moment for him, and I couldn't be happier. But Ye has a very Kanye verse. The first time, his first verse. And then the second verse he does, there's a sample on this thing that says, beautiful, big-tittied, butt-naked women don't fall out the sky. And if you haven't heard it, you're probably like, what the fuck are you saying? Stop fucking with me. That's the sample. It's from a movie. And the sample's fine. It's comedic. It goes with Ye's usual energy, you know, the satirical stuff. But then Kanye goes on to repeat that phrase for his entire second verse. And I mean, if it's shortened, it works, it's funny, it's a fucking meme, but if it stays that length for the official release, man, I don't know who approved that. Like, how many yes men do you gotta have around you for nobody to say, like, yo, maybe we should shorten this just a tad? Then they perform Vultures with Bump J, Ty, Ye, and Lil Durk, and I'll say Durk's verse actually has really grown on me. But then the big story now is Ye put on the black skinhead KKK hood, which is something he's been on since the Yeezus era, when he kind of wore the Confederate flag on jackets with the ideology of taking it back, removing the power from it. Then they perform New Body, and it has the Nicki verse on there. It is essentially just the Yandhi era version, which I honestly think is fine. I saw people complaining, but I didn't want Ye to redo his verse. I think it's fine as is. That's a #1 club hit, so don't fucking touch it. Just drop it. You're doing your thing. And then they went to play Fuck Some with Cardi and Quavo, and Ye revealed, we're waiting for Cardi to get off the plane. Per usual, this motherfucker's always late. Like, it's ridiculous. But they ran out of time. The venue shut off the speakers because Kanye was 2 hours late himself, and I don't know, man. This was such a mess of an event, but at the same time, it was so much fun. If I went there personally, looking at those prices of tickets and everything, and I was there in person waiting that entire time, I would probably hate Kanye for the rest of my life. But I watched it at home. I edited while waiting for the thing to start, and I had a really good time. It's clear to me that Kanye is taking a route that I didn't really expect him to in terms of a comeback record. In general, the collab was kind of an interesting endeavor, but also he's not really speaking his truth on anything. He's not spitting bars explaining his past actions and everything, and you can argue, I guess, that he doesn't have to anymore. He's Kanye West. He's a fucking legend. But he has that reputation of being a perfectionist, you know? So you thought maybe he would have a lot of bars in here talking about his thoughts on everything, his ideologies, the past year in general in his life. But apparently he's taking the approach of having these #1 hits, having these songs that will without a doubt go viral on TikTok and everything, and having these tracks that really just encapsulate his comedy, which is something that people really love him for. This album seems to really just sonically represent his humor, and while I wouldn't personally take that approach to coming back from such controversy, I'm not Ye. But from what I've seen, the people who are really not liking what they're hearing now are the hardcore Kanye fans, those on Good Ass Sub and everything. But I think an important thing to do is step back from our little circle where we analyze everything Kanye does in anticipation for some new music. Because I was having a convo with a friend like a few weeks ago, and they just like casually brought up Kanye, and it was no mention of the controversy, no mention of the fucked up she said. It was just like, you know, I can go for some new music. I hope he drops the record with Ty Dolla $ign soon. And it was like, damn. I think we forget that like people aren't always wanting what we want out of Kanye, so you can't measure the success of this album based on how much, you know, he spits bars like Freddie Gibbs. You know what I'm saying? Like, not everyone's gonna sit down with a fucking notepad and some glasses and write down, well, he said this about the controversy. I think most people don't give a fuck, and they just like Kanye for the hits, and this album is gonna provide them that. A lot of people coming out of the event, specifically those who were critical of what they heard, said there is no way that this thing is dropping Friday. But ladies and gentlemen, it is the day following the Vultures event, and officially, Vultures Volume 1 has been made available for pre-ad on Apple Music. There's a new album cover uploaded with it. It is a lighter take on that cover posted by Cardi a few days back, and I think that kind of fits the vibe of the album a little better anyway. But the track list is as follows: Everybody, Back to Me, Fuck Some, Time Moving Slow, Beg Forgiveness, So Good, Paid, Timbo Freestyle, Slide, New Body, Promotion, Vultures, Lifestyle, Drunk, Worship, River, Gun to My Head, and then Unlock. So you got 18 tracks on this thing. A lot of people expected a delay for this album, thinking it wasn't finished, but apparently we're in the end game here, and we are finally going to receive a new Ye album for the first time in, 2 years, since 2021? I expect to hear Conway the Machine on this thing, which I am stoked we're getting another Conway Ye collab. He posted the Vultures event on his Instagram story. We did not hear a track with him on it, but I'd assume he wouldn't just post that out of nowhere unless he's like an active user on fucking Good Ass Sub. And also remember, Travis is working on his verse apparently. Hopefully he gets it sent in time. Any Travis Scott Kanye collab I can get, I will take. Also at the event, they played a song off the album that had Kodak Black and Bad Bunny featured. From the clips I've seen, it sounds pretty damn good, but we didn't hear it at home because the live stream went down. But yeah, we're apparently in the end game, and the next 2 days are going to be very interesting. It has been a terrible few years to be a Kanye fan. We have been down atrociously bad. We have been screwed over from Donda 2 not dropping to having to defend this man and actively be known as fans during likely his craziest controversy ever. But finally, it looks like we are just 2 days away from a brand new Ye album, and it sounds like it's going to be a fun one at that. I've done my job. I've covered this whole rollout, and I really hope everyone enjoys the album. It's Dolla, it's Ye, it's Vultures this Friday.